Up YouTube, this is Brett with a deck profile for my anti-EX deck of sorts. Think of it like Ho-Oh, but instead of Ho-Oh, Darkrai. So I'll explain that. Let's get started. Choose Sigilif. We know why. Sigilif is good. Perfect anti-EX weapon. Can't take any damage from EXs. If it wasn't for Catcher and Laser and Verbank with Laser, this card would be, almost unstoppable, in all honesty. Really good. Bouffalant, as, while this is defensive against EX, this is offensive against EX. Wall with him, attack with him for, colorless energies. And then one Emolga, mainly just to search. For your basics, first turn, or even late game if you have to, it's not bad. Like I said, sort of like Ho-Oh, that's, Emolga is my own tech, but, Sigilif, Bouffalant are, especially Sigilif are known for being in Ho-Oh decks. But instead of the energy acceleration of Ho-Oh, I'm going for the flexibility of Darkrai. They all take, colorless energies. Emolga has free retreat, so he's not included, but colorless X-Ball, its attack takes 2 colorless, and its attack takes 3 colorless. So using darkness energies, you can retreat for free while using Darkrai. And if you have to, you can even use him as an attacker. So, wall with him, and then once you get Bouffalant built up, retreat, attack with Bouffalant for, a bunch of damage. Or, you could use Mewtwo EX even. While it is an anti-EX weapon, it'd be foolish not to use EXs, because they are here for a reason. Usually just to cover some bases, Both Darkrai and Bouffalant are weak to fighting types. Sigilif's weak to Psychic as well as Mewtwo. Emolga's weak to Lightning. But they cover their weaknesses pretty well. Yeah. For the supporter line, pretty standard. 4 Juniper, 4 N, 2 Chorus for mid to late game, 2 Charon for early game, 2 Bianca for late game. Granted, that's just how it usually works, not always. There are times when I want Charon, I draw Bianca. But there are times when just, this is perfect and this is perfect, so I couldn't rule either one of them out, so I run 2 of each. 4 Catcher, 4 Lasers, helps with, getting Bouffalant, having 1-hit KOs on EXs depending on what they, what they're at, HP-wise. 3 Ultra Balls, 2 Energy Switch just to maneuver your basic energies around. 2 Switch, just in case, either you don't have Darkrai out in the field, or something's paralyzed or asleep or whatever, so it's just a backup. 2 Verbanks to go with those lasers. 1 Eviolite, just in case, you never know, it is still a good card. 1 Energy Search, because, it runs 2 types of basic energies, so whichever one you need, this one's good for you. Tool Scrapper, mainly for those Garbodor decks, but also for Dark Claws and Eviolites in any standard Darkrai deck. Gold Potion, a lot of people hate on this card. Is it the best out of all of the Aspect? No, it's probably one of the worst, but in this deck, I prefer it over pretty much everything. I'm testing out Dowsing Machine, and I'm on the fence about it, but I do like this in here better than better than Computer Search. For me, this gives all your Pokemon more durability, which can really help with, for example, Bouffalant only has 100 HP. That can almost that gets 2-hit KO'd by everything. Gold Potion gives it extra staying power, enabling it to do even more damage before it leaves the field. I think Gold Potion just gives the Pokemon in the deck more durability. 3 Psychics. You can use them if you have to, but mainly for Sigilif. 5 Darkness Energies for all, for free retreat. 4 double colorless, because 6 out of the 9 Pokemon use double colorless as a way of energy acceleration, so to speak. Mewtwo, Bouffalant, and Sigilif. So 4 double colorless works. And then 4 Prism Energies. That's a lot of energy, it's 16. But the way I see it, you don't have to go that far to get the energies. Because there is no energy acceleration, you can afford to ditch some of this while, while still, powering up your Pokemon. And this works really well for Sigilif, actually. because it gives you one, not only gives you the psychic, but if you need to retreat, you can use this as the dark to retreat and then go into Bouffalant or whatever else you need to attack. So it's a lot of it's standard, a lot of it isn't. It is a lot of energies, I understand that, but you can't knock it till you try it. It's all about flexibility. That's why Darkrai's in here. It's all about giving up energy acceleration for being able to flexibly maneuver while doing damage and while just, going aggro on their EXs. And in this format, EXs are everywhere. So having anti-EX, anything is good. Sigilif, Bouffalant, too good not to use in the current format. Darkrai is just good regardless. Everybody knows it. I prefer this flexibility over Ho-Oh because Ho-Oh is conditional. And it makes the deck a little bit less consistent considering you have to use all these different types of energy. With Darkrai, Darkness energies, and also Prism energies in order to give everything free retreat and enabling it just to maneuver better. And Mewtwo's just there for an attacker, like I said. I've been playing testing it. I would have to say the biggest, the most worrisome matchup for this deck is Hammer Time decks, but those are troubling for most decks, in all honesty. But it has a pretty decent matchup against most Darkrai variants. These all cover each other's weaknesses. Granted, these two are both weak to fighting, but you got Sigilif and Mewtwo, and even a Molga to cover that if you need to. So it's just about being flexible. It's all about choosing what you need for the matchup. For example, if you're going against Darkrai Sableye, Darkrai's going to be their main attacker. You want to use Sigilif to stall, can't attack with their Darkrai, eventually send out your Bouffalant, do 120, and if, they end up using, they can use Laser on your Sigilif or Bouffalant, which could be a problem. That's why you run 2 of each. And you also have that Gold Potion, like I said, to give them more durability. And you got Eviolite to also give it more durability. And you're going to be lasering them and, doing damage also. And if you need to, you got Mewtwo to come in, hit heavy. Even if you have to use the energy switches to, maneuver the energies around. It's all about maneuverability. It's all about flexibility. That's what this deck's about. Like I said, there are bad matchups and there are good matchups, but that goes for every deck. But it's all about choosing which cards best fit your current situation. It's all about, what you choose for the specific matchup. Like I said, it's been doing really well. Hammer Time gives it a problem, but Hammer Time gives almost every deck a problem for the most part. Except for Blastoise Keldeo, but, that is what it is. But yeah, let me know what you think. Don't hate it till you try it, guys. I know it's a, it's a little different, but, it's also fun to run. Just give it a test run if you want to, proxy it, do whatever you want. It's fun, and it does pretty well. Like I said, you choose what you need based on the matchup, and you go from there. Alright, that's it, guys. This is Brett from TeamWildCard, signing off.